President Donald Trump said that he will import taxes of 100% on pharmaceutical drugs, 50% on kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities, 30% on upholstered furniture, and 25% on heavy trucks starting on October 1st. So we want to continue to break this down. Let's bring in our next guest to help us do that. This is Michelle Schulz, a trade attorney. Great to have you on. And Michelle, I guess my first question to you is, why now for these tariffs to be put in place on October 1st?
Thank you, Mike, for having me. Well, we've seen these tariffs in flux quite a bit since April, and it has been stop and go, wait and see. Then we hear about different levels of tariffs. These tariffs right now, I think, are beginning to be put in place because we have a Supreme Court case coming up in the first week of November, where the Supreme Court will decide whether or not the reciprocal tariffs are legal. In my view, this is kind of a backup plan, because these would have to be implemented under a different law, and it would be under Section 232, where investigations are conducted into national security.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that for the national security measures there. President Trump doing the legal justification on that, talking about imported kitchen cabinets and sofas were needed for national security and other reasons. Now, why would that be? And give us some insight on that.
That's a great question. Usually, when we see a Section 232 investigation in trade, it's something a little more sensitive. You know, we've seen it into metals like aluminum and steel, which we need to build defense products and defense materials. So, couches, furniture, it's a little interesting. I know that the president has mentioned that we're flooded with foreign made furniture, but I don't know how that connects with national security. I think, however, uh, this Section 232 investigation is going to be what he's going to hang his hat on.
Yeah, so true about that. And I mean, this tariff announcement really comes at a interesting part here because while there is a really, really solid stock market going on, the outlook for U.S. jobs here in this country remain a little bit soft right now. Talk a little bit about maybe, again, the timing here of putting this in when, some economists say down the road, the job outlook could get a little bit more weaker before it gets better.
Yes, we have noticed that manufacturing jobs have decreased in some areas. Also, we've seen just layoffs generally, even to personnel that deals in trade, which I don't think is a great idea. Um, but we're seeing a lot of impact because, first of all, the de minimis rule, where you could import $800 or less in small packages and not have to pay duties, it's recently disappeared. So we're starting to see products rise in cost. We're starting to see companies reevaluating their price lists. And I've actually talked to companies about their price lists and what should they do. It's kind of a turning point because products are going to be noticeably more expensive now, and I think consumers will notice. And so then we have this Supreme Court case coming up. If the Supreme Court says that these tariffs are illegal, then we will have a backup with Section 232 national security if the government, can prove that.
Sure, sure. And for the pharmaceuticals, that one seems in line with how President Trump campaigned, along with the Vice President J.D. Vance, really trying to put pressure on the pharmaceutical companies to make the drugs here in the United States versus somewhere like China, where that could be a huge security risk.
And that's a great point. I think with regard to pharmaceuticals, yes, security is key. The big pharmaceutical companies are in Switzerland. So Roche and Novartis, they're huge, they're giants, and they're Swiss, and they've already pledged to invest quite a bit. This is also interesting to me because the reciprocal tariff on Switzerland is 39%, and tariffs can stack on one another. So I think they're acting in a very smart way by confirming that they're investing in the US. I wonder what will happen with companies that are smaller, maybe in other countries that can't afford to build plants in the US. There are a lot of questions here.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Yeah, especially a lot of questions regarding just the outlook as well. I want to show you this one. I thought this was interesting. EU, Japan, their trust says that they have secured limits to the U.S. drug tariffs. So how did they get this deal, and then everyone else not so much?
It doesn't seem to me that it's a final deal. There has been an agreement reached with the EU, but it's not fleshed out yet. So we have these letters and we have kind of broad agreements, broad terms. We don't have full on free trade agreements where this is laid out. I think they may well get the cooperation that they want, especially with Japan. The EU, I recently met with a group of EU business people. I work with the EU American Chamber of Commerce in Texas, and the EU does seem quite concerned. So I don't think they're all that confident that they have the deal done, but I I hope.
Yeah, there you go. Michelle Schulz, thanks so much for giving us such great insight here on these matters. And even though that it is not such a done deal just as of yet, but we appreciate all of the updates along the way as well. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Take care.